you're going to like this, because this is what you're reaching for, and as you hear it, and you will, a whole lot of things are going to start clicking into place fast for you, because you've done the work, you've sifted through the data, your vortex is ripe, it's ready to pop for you on all these fronts. You can feel that. But here's the distinction that we want you to hear. And this is the thing about deliberate creation. For a while, we called these gatherings the science of deliberate creation. Science meaning creation is always evolving and changing, like science must. And deliberate meaning you want to be purposeful about what you think. But after a while, we gravitated toward calling it the art of allowing instead, because people got too heady in the thoughts that they were thinking about being deliberate. And so this is the distinction that we want you to hear. Feel the difference between focusing on a subject like a specific job and the things that you will do, or a specific relationship and what that person might be like. Feel the difference between the details of the manifestations that you can see and hear and smell and taste and touch, and the details of the manifestation that you're feeling with your emotions. Because as a human, you're oriented toward seeing and hearing and smelling and tasting and touching. So most of you, when you are making your lists of what you want, you're kind of heavy on that part of it, how you want it to look, how you want it to be. But when you tweak it just a little bit, where you start emphasizing the feeling of it, in other words, the difference between I want to create $100,000 this year, or $200,000 this year, or $500,000 this year, pick a number, it doesn't matter. I want to create X number of dollars this year. That's using your mind in a specific, deliberate way, and saying, I want to feel my utter freedom to be and do and have whatever I choose. And so what you're wanting to do is amplify the emotional things that you're looking for, the freedom and the clarity and the collaborative nature, the harmonics of the workplace, the bigness of it, the expansiveness of it. And as you're thinking in those more vibrational terms, rather than in those specific see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it terms, something will shift within you. You'll feel it right away. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. And I do feel that here now.
Because the things that you said, therefore, under those conditions, could not happen to you. You were describing, this is working, and this is working, and this is working, and this is working, but I'm doing it all in a place that I don't want to be. So what that means is you were trying to manhandle your life with your own powerful mind, rather than turning it over to the vortex, which will work it all out, and you just letting what the vortex has worked out come to you. Did you feel the difference in that?
Yeah, completely.
So when you start calibrating to the feeling of security, meaning stable no matter what, calibrating your emotion to things always work out for me, as you calibrate like that, then more and more evidence of that, even right where you stand in the current working environment that you're standing, things start shifting like that. You begin to notice it right away.
Right. Yeah, and that's been happening.
That was big. We are happy that you were with us on that. And so let's go back and just define that in a strong way. Everything that you're approaching, you can approach it as a subject. In other words, there's a subject of politics, and there's a subject of medicine, and there's a subject of parenting, and there's a subject of schools. We could keep this sentence going for days and days and days, just talking about subjects. But then there's the emotional stance of well-being. There's the emotional stance of freedom. There's the emotional stance of awesomeness and eagerness and friendliness even. Can you feel the difference? When you start reaching for the way, what you want and why you want it, it's the why you want it. There isn't anything that anybody wants, whether it's a pile of money or a new relationship or a different job or an empire. There isn't anything that anybody wants, ever has or ever will, that is for any other reason than that they believe they will feel better when they're there. So if you start focusing on how you want to feel until you're feeling that way, because you're focusing on feeling that way, things just begin lining up, lining up, lining up. And the thing that's so great about that is that you never get it done. Can't get it wrong. Reason you can't get it wrong is because it's never done. It'll just keep morphing into something else. So when you catch this emotional point of attraction spirit of things, then what happens? You're happy now, and you're happy now, and you're happy now. It's not like I've got that goal of that job, and on my way to it I'm feeling pretty frisky, and then I've got it, yay, but now I've got it, yay, and now I've still got it, yay, and I've still got it, yay. Where if you're focused upon expansion and freedom, then nothing ever stalls out. You see the difference?
Yeah.
And this is really the biggest point that we're making in all of that. You heard it clearly, but we're going to make it again. Just imagine, just feel with us all that your vortex was. Your vortex is that vibrational reality that we're talking about. It's what's out ahead of you, just pre-manifestation. It's all the things that you've aspired to that now, as your doubt subsides, will start flowing into your experience. So it works like this. There's this vortex of all that you've asked for, and your inner being, in essence, stands in the midst of all of that, not just knowing it, but being it, knowing it, being it. And the law of attraction gathering all of the cooperative components. So these cooperative components are all gathered, and it's there to unfold for you, not to just drop splat in your life. That wouldn't be any fun. To unfold in your life in this continuous, never-ending long stream of lovely experiences. So here it all is, and it's ready for you. Are you ready for it? So you decide you're going to meditate because you are going to be ready for it. So every day you meditate, you quiet your mind. Esther likes to listen to the air conditioner or the sound. Is there any sound in this room? Very subtle. Can you hear it? If she's in a room where there's no sound, she has an app that says central air. You want to focus on something that you have no thought about, like Esther never thinks, I've heard better. There's no negative thought about that. And sometimes she'll focus and then her mind will wander, and then she'll bring herself back and her mind will wander. Sometimes it takes a little bit to really quiet her mind, but once you quiet your mind, your vibration rises because there's no resistance holding it down. And once you reach the vibrational equivalent of your inner being, who has no resistance, now what's in that vortex and what your inner being knows about that vortex can be received by you. It just sort of wafts into your experience. It's where ideas come from, and inventions and impulses. So the more you're doing that, then the more you're finding those impulses flowing into your experience. And as those ideas and impulses flow into your experiences, and now you're making the clear association between what you already know was in the vortex and having quieted your mind. And now when this thought comes and you follow that impulse and there's a payoff for it, now you've got it. Now you understand how it all works, because your inner being knows where you stand in terms of manifestation in relationship to everything that's in your vortex. And here are the key words. And your inner being knows your path of least resistance. Your path. What do we mean by that? Your inner being knows where all your resistant thoughts are. And your inner being, in your tuned in, tapped in, turned on state of being, will guide you around and over and under all of those resistant thoughts right to what you want. It's like Esther lost her gold pen. She couldn't find it anywhere. She looked and looked and looked. She dumped every purse out. She looked and looked and looked and looked. Finally, she gave up. Then 2 or 3 months later, she was looking for something else in one of her handbags, a little bottle of perfume. And she reached in the bag where she knew it was and came out with the gold pen. She could not find what was lost. Your inner being knows what you think is lost. And in your state of alignment, your inner being will guide you through the path of least resistance right to where you want to be. And oh, what fun it is along the way. Whew. Enough?
Fantastic.
This is a really good time for a segment of refreshment.